The courtroom went silent as the judge adjusted his glasses. My mom was already smiling, confident, victorious. She thought she had just stolen $5,850,000 from her own daughter. Then the judge read the final line of my grandfather's will, and I watched her face drain of all color. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who was supposed to protect you, if you've ever been underestimated, dismissed, or treated like you didn't deserve what was rightfully yours, hit subscribe, tap like, and stay until the end. Because this isn't just a story about money, it's about patience, truth, and perfectly timed justice. I always knew my mom loved control more than she loved me, but I never imagined she tried to steal my future in front of a judge. Growing up, it was always just the two of us. My father left before I could form memories, and my mom made sure I knew it was him who abandoned us, never her who pushed everyone away. The only person who ever made me feel safe, truly safe, was my grandfather. He was quiet, observant, the kind of man who listened more than he spoke. While my mom criticized everything I did, my clothes, my grades, my friends, my grandpa would simply look at me and say, "You're stronger than you think." He was also incredibly successful. What most people didn't know was that my grandfather had built a real estate empire from nothing. He owned commercial properties, apartment complexes, land that had appreciated over decades. On paper, his estate was worth just under $6 million. And my mom wanted every cent of it. The thing is, my mom hadn't spoken to him in years. They had a falling out when she demanded he sell one of his properties early so she could borrow the money. He said no. She screamed. She accused him of loving money more than family. After that, she cut him off completely. I didn't. I visited him every weekend. I cooked for him when his hands started shaking. I organized his medications. I listened to his stories, some repeated, some half-finished, but all precious. And during those long afternoons, he started asking questions about my dreams, about how my mom treated me, about whether I felt supported. I never complained, not directly, but I didn't lie either. The day he passed away, I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. At the funeral, my mom cried loudly, dramatically. People hugged her, whispering how strong she was. I stood in the back, silent, numb. Then, 2 weeks later, her real self came out. She cornered me in the kitchen one night, arms crossed, voice sharp. "Don't get any ideas," she said. "You know everything your grandfather had belongs to me." My stomach twisted. "I'm his only child," she continued. "Whatever he left, it's mine, and I'll decide what you get." Something about the way she said it made my hands go cold. A week later, I was served legal papers. She was contesting the will, claiming my grandfather had been mentally unstable, that I had manipulated him, that I had coerced him into cutting her out. I couldn't breathe when I read it. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about erasing the truth of who I was to him. But what my mom didn't know was that my grandfather had seen this coming. 3 months before he died, he asked me to drive him to his lawyer's office. "I need to make sure everything is clear," he said. I sat in the waiting room while he spent over an hour inside. When he came out, he squeezed my hand. "No matter what happens," he said quietly, "promise me you won't argue. You'll just listen." I didn't understand then. I did now. The court date arrived. My mom walked in like she already owned the place. Dressed in black, hair perfectly styled, lips pressed into a confident line. She wouldn't even look at me. Her lawyer painted me as a manipulative freeloader, a young woman who took advantage of an elderly man, who isolated him from his rightful family, who convinced him to leave millions to someone undeserving. Every sentence felt like a slap. When it was my turn to speak, my voice shook, but I told the truth. About the weekends, the meals, the conversations, the care. My mom rolled her eyes. Then, the judge asked for the final version of the will. The room went quiet as he flipped through the pages. My mom leaned forward slightly. I noticed her smile before anyone else did. The judge cleared his throat. He began reading. The will left $5,850,000 in assets. To me, not a dollar to my mother. My mom shot to her feet. "This is ridiculous," she yelled. She brainwashed him. The judge raised a hand. "I'm not finished." And then he read the final line. A handwritten addendum from my grandfather. "To my daughter, you abandoned me when I refused to fund your greed. You abandoned your own child long before that. This decision was made with a clear mind and a full heart. Do not contact my granddaughter again." The courtroom froze. My mom's face went completely white. Her mouth opened then closed. Then she screamed. Not words, just raw, broken sound. She collapsed into her chair, sobbing, shaking, unraveling in front of everyone. I didn't feel joy. I felt peace. Because for the first time in my life, the truth was louder than her lies. The judge upheld the will. The case was closed. My mom never spoke to me again. And honestly, that was the greatest gift of all. When I walked out of that courtroom, the air felt different, lighter, not because I had won millions, but because I had finally been seen. My grandfather protected me one last time. Not with money, but with truth. I used part of the inheritance to pay off debts. I donated some to causes he cared about. And I built a life where no one gets to control me ever again. My mom tried to steal my future. Instead, she lost her daughter forever. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It doesn't require shouting or destruction. Sometimes it's patience, documentation, and letting the truth speak when the time is right. If this story made you feel something, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying moment of justice you've ever witnessed? And remember, not everyone who smiles at you wants the best for you. But truth always has the final word.